Okay, here's part 2. I haven't read this in ages, so like that's why I'm like, whoa, it's very interesting for me too, after not having read it for a really long time, having written it so quickly. I wrote it so fast. When I met James Robinson, I said, would you do this with me? Would you play a young Wallace if his daughter lives in the story? And he said yes, because I thought, oh my God, like there's nothing better than James Robinson doing this, so that's why we're doing it. But anyway, we're shooting off an outline because I've never written an outline. Like, I've done 15 or 16 feature films that I wrote, directed, acted in, everything, did everything, but none of them or with any of them did I write an outline. I always wrote scripts, but with this one it was like it shot out of me as if William Wallace himself was being channeled through me, or some great mother figure. It feels like a real feminine feel. It's got the feminine touch. It might be like Wallace's mother coming through me being like, yo, this happened. Better believe it. It's very sensual, but freedom's very sexy. That's the thing. The reason why we love freedom is because it's sensual. It's lovers together being loyal to each other. If you have more than one woman, you have less than one woman. I said that a long time ago, and it's very true. The older you get, the more that rings true. So if you're out there and you're wondering about that, I'm not confused about that fact, and nobody else should be. If you have more than one woman, you have less than one woman. Facts. Okay, anyway, back to a secret daughter of Wallace. Also, it's just such a profound giving the Vicky to everyone. Like, it's like an FU to a lot of the other stuff that's been out there about the ideas of what freedom means, and what freedom really is, being in a woman's arms, the right woman's arms. That's a fucking freedom you'll never forget, mate. Okay, I don't even know where I am, like where I left off. Okay. Something about the horses. Yeah, so the house burnt down. That's where we left off. Eating oysters in the Scottish water to survive, but the oysters are plump. Very plump. Sex dreams about Murrin. Future dreams. We see them in their old age, dotage. Grandchildren all around them. The future they will never have. That's Kierkegaard. He said, when someone dies, you don't miss the past. You don't long for the past. What you long for is a future you'll never have, because you're not getting it with that person. That is the most poetic form of grief and the realist version of it. He sees Murrin and he talks to her like it's Hamlet's ghost. No buttons on the clothes. She sleeps in his kilt, dangling in the trees. They are together, like surrounded by his tartan kilt. It looks like a modern Grim Reaper with the cloth of his kilt scooping all over his whole head and torso. The ancient kilt is also a hammock, aka somewhere to sleep, like a tent in the trees that kept them safe from the English for centuries, and they were living in quarters. Arborous, basically. This is how they lived for centuries. This is why we survived. We hid in the fucking trees, man. Scottish people hid in the fucking trees. Like, come on. How cool is that? Fucking cool. Okay, anyway. I'd be like, do you want to sleep? But if I was a guy back then, I'd be like, do you want to sleep in my kilt? And I'd be like, yep. That was their form of sexting. Have to go back home, Uncle Argyle, to my father's home. Well, if you go in peace, it's your destiny to be a farmer. William, a crofter, a monk. I was a monk, and then I became a fighter after the English killed your mother. That's what happens when women are raped. The monks become fighters. That's what I said to the English man before I cut his throat. It's so sad. I wanted revenge because they had taken my wife too and raped her, for God save us. Then killed her. My heart ached. My life had been destroyed. I thought of my grief and I thought it would never cease. And I thought it would send me to the darkest dungeons. And I thought my grief would ease if I cut the English soldier's throat who raped her and killed her. But it did not cease the pain. I felt it worse. And I just muddied the pain, muddied the waters of the pain. The pain's still there. It's worse, stronger than ever, stronger with each year. It's like an itch in my heart and a scar in my face. So the grief didn't ease or cease when you cut the English bastard's throat. No, I felt nothing. The grief is as painful as the moment they took her when I was a young man. I wanted so many sons with her, but I had none. So you are my only son, William. I'm your nephew. No, you are my son. Now, William, and you always will be. Who else is going to be? Your father and my brother. It's in heaven. Doesn't count. Scotland's sons and daughters are free forever. Now, I deem it to be the case. I was a monk, so I can pray for that. Oh, it's so pretty. That's such a pretty concept. You tell them Scotland isn't theirs. Runners come around out of breath and they update them on the troubles, of course, in Glasgow and in Scotland in general. There will be a bloody war, but Scotland will be free. He goes in disguise as a monk back to the battle where William fights for Scotland on the Irish side. Blue faces, and the girls don't speak any English and they have a language. With blue on their skin, God will be on your side. Alba, Sor Alba, on Argyle's sword, that's what's on it. Yes, that's what's on his uncle's sword, that's now his sword. We got dressed up and came here to do what would be right. The lords take titles and money from the king. 80 years of oppression. We haven't won against England in 200 years. He meets Hamish in a church and friends around him. People like that. Red-headed and bright, spirited. He sees him hit a stone one way and Wallace says he'll hit Hamish back. And Hamish tells him Murrin is older now and doing well back in his father's village. And she sent me to find you and she wants me to tell you should come home, William, that she's waiting for you. So he goes to see her. He goes to see Murrin. After their love-filled, long chemistry galore hug, she tells her parents that she's leaving to sell her sheep fleeces in Glasgow markets on Byers Road, where they buy stuff. But we want you to come home, William. They fall in love at first sight as adults with no words. They get married in Glasgow. Secret wedding again, but this is their first one. She tells her parents that she's... Oh, wait, no, skipped a line. Yeah, married in Glasgow, secret wedding. She kisses him all over. He kisses her. He gets her pregnant on a full moon. They live in secret. She has a daughter, all in Lamington, Lanarkshire. She touches her stomach in joy. Daughter's a secret. She's a secret. You will be guardian angel of Scotland. You will be the freedom, the lineage of freedom. He takes the daughter to Elderslie, Glasgow. His mother's people are... to his mother's people to be freed of the English laird. The baby will be safe there, hidden. And Murrin goes back to her own village, disguised as a nun, to get past the rabble. No one knows about the baby girl at all except Wallace and Murrin. How sexy is that? Like, you have a secret baby? Come on. That's better than a not secret baby. Because they don't want her to be found out by the English and be raped again and be killed again. They just are like, no, like, let's stop that. So by giving birth, that great mother, by giving birth to that female, Murrin is creating the future of Scottish freedom. Come on. Yep. And whatever juices flow, whatever elixir is there, whatever is shooting out of them is probably like taste as sweet as coconut water. I'm not gonna lie, it's good. It's a good juice of freedom there, creating those beautiful things in love. The baby in Wallace and the Wallace line is the secret. The magic part is that he has to pretend he doesn't have a daughter, so he doesn't pretend. Like, he literally is like, whatever. So she won't be killed by the English. I'll marry you as many times as you like, one marriage for God and one for the two of us. Robert the Bruce's dad's young and he's being a tyrant, giving bad speeches. There's nothing worse than a bad speech. Wallace is seeing young Robert being a silly, childish man. If that coward is Scotland's claim to the throne, then we're up shit creek without a fucking paddle. Except they don't use that. They probably just say, we're in trouble. We are in trouble. Where did you learn to fight so well? You must have been an archer for an English army, learning such skills. No, I would rather drink poison than fight for England, ever. I learned everything I know about battle, and from my Scottish friends and my uncle Argyle taught me to use his sword. Scottish people have honest, beating hearts, and they're smarter than you assume. We fight better than English paid soldiers. He doesn't spend time with his daughter at Clydeside, but then he spends time with her. He teaches her, it's so cute, he teaches her even when she's a toddler to fight. Then she's 10, I can fight, I know you can fight. You have to learn to use your brain and all of that before you learn how to use your body in battle. And then there's a scene where she wakes up alone and where she has this pale water of Wallace's friends approach. They come to see her next to a body of water in Elderslie without Wallace, and they're battered by her mate, just asked to go ahead and being a teenager when Wallace has had a funeral at Elderslie. And there's a wee Glasgow boy there who gives her a thistle and she's crying. And there's an uncle that rocks up, and then another uncle, and then we see John and Malcolm. Did they tell you how your father died? No. It's probably better you don't know. Will you tell me how he died? There's a pause. He died well, with his wits about him, and he died for Scotland, for Alba. There's another pause. We need you to live for Scotland. Do you think you can do that? Live instead of be killed? She looks at them and we will keep you hidden your whole life. It's the only way to secure that the English will not hurt you. Pause. Was the benediction poetic? I don't know, I don't speak Latin. We shall have to remedy that. She goes off on a horse with large dogs following her and her uncle's behind her. She goes on a pilgrimage to Rome. She'll also learn French. She must have many languages because her father learned all of them. She's the future of Scotland, so she must know who she is. She must learn what he knew. My dad's grandmother and aunts in Glasgow predict that I'm going to have many children and live a long, happy life. And I don't have to learn languages for that. And so you will, though. God give me strength to live well. Looking at the boy as they ride away, putting a handkerchief of thistles. Being older, still looking at the thistle. Wallace's two sisters, her aunts, show his letter from runners from Scotland, the Declaration of Arbroath, 1320. Catherine